guys, welcome back to Royal Blu FX. In this video, we're going to talk about 2 ways to see supply and demand. But before we go any further, I just want to let you guys know we still have our special right now at $249 for one of our courses, which includes one-on-one sessions with me starting from Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, which are 1 hour long. So go ahead and check that out right now in the link in the description below, and let's begin. All right, so the way I want to talk about supply and demand is a lot of you guys have been taught supply and demand as simply really just lows and highs, right? Higher highs, higher and lows, right? Like this, right? So you know that there's demand going bullish, supply going bearish. Now, one of the 2 ways I really want you guys to see the way supply and demand works is essentially when you identify the direction on a higher time frame. So let's just say, for example, on a 30-minute right now, for me, there's 2 types of directions going. There's the major, which you see here, that major supply right there, right, high and low, and also we have this low to this high, right? And you can see there's order flow pushing bullish, right? So that's how I'm identifying direction. The way I want to talk about the first supply, okay, or supply or demand is this. A lot of you were most likely taught when you see a lower low, lower high, right, you wait for prices to break a low, right? You're looking for the high, for the low, for the high and the low, okay? That's your very typical supply chain, right? Everyone knows the need to be selling. Everyone is anticipating for prices to break a low. However, there's the other one that a lot of you guys may not be able to anticipate, as well as, you know, I guess a lot of others out there. So let's just pretend when price is going bullish like this, okay, and we're gonna go bearish right now. Now we're having supply taking over the demand, right? And then it does this, right? Price goes back up to supply, and then let's just say price does this, right? Once we get to this position, there's a lot of uncertainty for a lot of traders. Okay, that means because we were just following supply like this, you can see that there's a high, there's a low, price broke the low, right? And now you see another high create, right? But the low has not been created yet, right? A lot of traders wait for supply, for this demand, for this low right here to be broken, right? And a lot of times price does this, right? And then you're thinking, oh, okay, now I can start looking to sell, right? And it's not wrong to do this, right? However, I'm trying to let you guys see how supply and demand works a little more clearer, rather than just having to wait for, you know, crystal clear shots or crystal clear supply and demand zones. And the reason why I'm saying this, and the reason why I'm proposing this for you guys, is because if you all understand by now that supply and demand is not as, you know, beautiful like this, right? Higher highs, higher lows, right? It does happen. However, there are a lot of times when price is just so difficult to read. So in this case, price may look something like this, right? And you don't know what's happening, right? And prices are very busy. You know, in most cases there's consolidation. Again, a lot of you were taught just to wait for a break of structure. However, prices continue bearish like this, and then you start thinking, okay, man, wow, I could have been involved in this, you know, in this trade, in this entry, maybe somewhere in there, right? And then, you know, and then now you most likely wait for some sort of supply right here, right? And then price just this and keeps continuing bearish. So what I'm trying to let you guys know is, in order to enter trades on supply and demand, is everything is supply and demand. You just need to read and mark out structure correctly. So let's just say in this instance, okay, if this high right here was created, right, and we're anticipating for this low to be broken, if we backtrack from this low, the low that broke, the high that broke this low, right? If we see all the way down here and we backtrack price on the retracement, right, and then look to see where that high is, right, and then price pushed bearish, we need to understand that price here mitigated the previous high. That's one of the most important things to understand here, is that high is mitigating this previous high. And once it does, we know that this now is the next previous high, or the next previous supply zone, right? So therefore, we can't anticipate that price is going to go bullish here. Okay, if prices are actually bearish and we're actually selling off from a big big supply zone, right? A major supply zone here. Then we're looking for prices to exchange here. So what you're looking for is obviously chalk, right? A change of character. And then let me mark this out here so you guys can see this more visually, right? You're looking for the chalk, right? And then now, once we have the chalk, you see that this is a buy to sell candle right there, or a buy to sell move, right? That's your flip, right there. And then now we anticipate that prices should get to this area right here, right to the flip zone, and then continue bearish, right? That's what we want. However, once we see that price has not broken, okay, this high here, it did not surpass this high or exceed the high, right? Then we can now anticipate that prices should hold here. This is the next level of supply right there. And then we can look to take that entry to continue bearish just like this, okay? And then now we can start adding up more trades, right? Based on the supply and demand zone. Now we have the first break, second break, excuse me, it's actually the first break, second break, right? And now we know we can anticipate price to do this, right? We may also see something like this, right? And then now you might be thinking, okay, well, where's my next supply zone, right? Is my next supply zone here, right? Or here, right? This is what you need to be questioning yourself at all times, right? We have the extreme supply, and then we have the internal supply. So if you ask me, we have the internal supply so far to work with. This is where prices need to come to next, right? And once this happens, then we just wait simply for price to exchange again, back to see supply take over demand here. So now you're looking for the internal chalk in here as well. Chalk, right? Right there, just like that, just like that. And then you're gonna wait for price to get back to your supply zone, okay? And then we wait for price to either get here. Let's just say because I drew this buy to sell here, this would in theory be our next supply zone right there. And then we can look at to continue prices bearish, something like that, okay? And then this high could be used for a major retracement, something like this, for price to continue, okay? So what I'm trying to show you guys here is that, you know, even things like this, even a scenario like this where you see a high, a low, a high, and a low, but yet we haven't broken this low here, right? You can still take the internal supply to sort of continue price bearish, right? To continue price bearish to break this new low, right? Instead of having to wait for price to break and then wait for price to get back and then sell it, right? Which isn't wrong. What I'm saying is it's not wrong to wait for a price to break and show you another break of structure. But I'm going to show you guys on a live chart, example to show you what I clearly mean, okay? So again, I just want to refer to and redraw what I'm talking to you guys about again, is that a lot of the times everybody's just waiting for a clean break, right? Just like that, which is the first part of supply and demand, okay? The very simplistic way of seeing supply and demand. Second one is really the one that hasn't actually broken, let's say the demand, right? But it's lingering like this. Price is just sort of consolidating, right? They could do whatever they want in here, right? But I'm just saying you guys can partake in all this, right? And then do something like that, right? And then the only way this works, obviously, is when you're looking at the major supply and demand zone. So let's just pretend this is a major supply and this is a major demand here. If prices have been bearish for some time, let's say bullish, right? They're bullish. We tap a major supply zone. If this is the, let's say, 4-hour bullish trend up and the 4-hour bearish trend up, then you can now start understanding that everything is bearish on the 4-hour. So therefore, you can start looking to profit based on the supply going bearish. So if the 4-hour is tap the major supply zone like this, and prices are going bearish, then you can look for the internal structure, right, to go bearish as well. And then all you're doing is just waiting to connect the dots from this high to this low, right? Price needs to retrace back to this high, right? And then now continue bearish. And you can start partaking in this high to this low, this high to this low, this high and this low, right? Until prices do something like this, right? And then you can wait for price to get back to continue like this, right? Something like that. So this is what I like to call ping pong as well, because what I can do is I can start mapping out when I'm looking for supply, right, to continue bearish, I'm anticipating for all the demand to fail, right? And so if I'm anticipating for all the demand to fail, then that means I can also look to take buys as well, although I wouldn't recommend it because we're going against the trend, right? So if prices are like this, right, and we had a demand zone, let's say that was a demand zone, and let's just say this was another demand. Okay, let's say that was a demand zone, right? And somehow we're anticipating for prices to come there on this demand zone, right, which they did, and this is the 4-hour high and the 4-hour low here, then we can look for buys in here on the 4-hour low, right? We would know that this would be a retracement, right? And if it's retracing, we know it's going to retrace back to the supply zone here in order for us to continue bearish. However, in this demand zone here, I would start looking for internal structure to shift, just like this internal structure, right, for this high right here. And then I would look for the internal structure to shift for me to partake into the supply, just like that. Just like in here too, I need the demand to take over. I need to see some higher highs right in here, right? I need to see a failed, I need to see either a flip in here, okay, a flip, which would be essentially this, right? You got the low swept, the high swept, and then you see a flip just like that. This is a sell. This is a failed supply zone that did not break the low. Price flipped, came in back and tagged this demand zone here, and prices are continuing just like that. So that's what we essentially want to see like this, right? And then only targeting the supply zone right here for prices to continue bearish. Okay, so let me just show you guys what I'm talking about on a live chart example, because I know sometimes drawings cannot articulate well with a lot of you traders out there. So let's continue from here. So let's go. Let me see if I find anything over here. Okay, let's just go down here. All right, I might see something right here. Okay, notice how, let's just say we were all the way down here, right down here, and we see that price mitigated right there, this demand zone, right? And then I'm going to go down on the 15-minute right now. And so what I wanted to see here is, I noticed that, let's just say I'm looking at the computer right now for the first time, and I want to be a part of this, right? And let's just say that we did all our analysis from this low to this high, and now we understand that this is a buy from here, right? Well, in this case, I don't have to wait for prices to break this high here, right? A lot of traders would wait for this high now to break, because we just had a break of structure there, right? Now we have to wait for this break, and then wait for price to get back to partake into this, right? Well, what I'm trying to tell you guys is this is not wrong. This is actually, in fact, very well. It's very much well conservative way of trading. However, you can partake in this, so you can continue price bullish here in order for price to break, and then continue back to continue the same move like this, right? So what I'm trying to show you guys here is, let's look for this the failed supply. Okay, the failed supply is this right over here, and you can see it, right? So this would be my entry. I would split this about 50% of the way right there, right? And just play the 50 EQ, right, with the risk running right below here, just to cover the low, because sometimes prices wick, right? But we know that all too well that the intention of the market is to make higher highs and higher lows. So lower low, lower high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? But sometimes the wicks just go like this, wick you out and then continue, and then when you select your line chart, you know that price is only tagged here, the recorded price in here as the solid candle, right? Because we know line charts only record solid candles. So let's continue. So this is where I would choose for the entry, right, to be, because now we understand that, and again, guys, I'm only reading supply and demand here, only supply and demand. I'm not trying to wait and to think about, price, having to wait for price to get up here, then to wait for price to retrace, then to continue, right? I'm actually playing supply and demand. Here's the next failure of supply, so we're going to wait for price to get here now, right? Now, obviously, I'm not all the way down at the very low. Okay, this was another one, so I see it there. I went a little bit too fast, but there's another entry there. So I could see that we had this supply zone right there, right? So there was supply there. There was more supply here, so we had sold and then we bought, and then price came back to continue bullish here. So this would have been another entry, right? And then we can continue from here, right? So notice how we're partaking in this move, right? But like I said, a lot of the gurus out there probably, a lot of people that are conservative. I'm not going to try and spit, hate or anybody on anyone or dislike on anybody. I'm just trying to show you guys realistically that you don't have to wait for price to break the high. You can just start partaking inside the internal structure to continue price bullish. All right, again, we see more supply here, right? Reacting to more supply here. So realistically, we are looking for buys in here, although I can't go any lower than this, but I'm just going to do something like this, where I mark out my entire supply to demand right there. So I'd wait for price to hit the 50. Okay, there's more demand, there's more supply there to demand, so this is another entrance, but I'm going to wait for this one here, right there. Okay, so price would have tapped me out. Notice how here I would have entered at the 50, right? Notice why I put my risk just a bit below, right? And then, we target something up there, obviously. But let's see what happens here, right? Boom, there we go. So we're seeing price continue bullish, right? Again, now watch this. I wanted to mention right here, why did I place my risk below, right? Right, the wick is not recorded, but the body is recorded. If I take my line chart, look where price went, right? It's recording here, not down here. So that's why there's a lot of traders, again, who don't understand sort of why price does what it does in terms of price wicking out. They'll be like, oh, well, price took me out. Okay, well, great. It's probably because you don't anticipate when price retraces. You need to anticipate that price may continue bearish to take you out. So that's why you want to put your risk just a little bit low, right? Because prices are sweeping the stop losses, right? Another thing we do here at Royal Blu FX is we actually work with I created this thing that's called a PLT-PHT. You can see there's a impulse, retracement, impulse, and then PLT. PLT is right there. So we would wait for the PLT to be swept, and then we buy after that, right? Same thing. I can't see it in here. It must be somewhere in here. But PLT PHTs are essentially within your supply and demand zones at all times. Okay, so this is how you would do it, right? Just like this. So let's look. I don't know. Let's look over here, for example. I'll show you another example. Okay, let's go. Well, this is way too small. Let me go down on the third, maybe on the higher time frame right here. I really want to show you guys what to do here, how to partake in all this. Okay, maybe right here. Okay. Okay, a lot of you obviously wouldn't be trading any of this stuff because it is consolidating here. Maybe I can show you something smoother, something better, because I want you guys to really understand what I'm talking about here. Okay. Excuse me, I have a dry throat over here. Okay, let's talk about this one here. Right there. Okay, we know this is the last supply zone here, so we span that across, right? Once price reaches your supply zone, right, you can see that price failed and reversed back bullish here, so this would have been your demand zone right here, and you'd buy right there, right? Okay, but in theory, prices are still bearish. Let's do this. You can see prices here just barely broke above this high. Look over here, right? If I put my crosshairs, just barely broke above that high. You can see right there, right? But this doesn't indicate to us that the prices are bullish either, right? So what I would do instead here now is I would look for my last failed demand zone, which is right there. Okay? And so now that I understand that, I understand fully, if I look at this, prices are bearish, I'm bearish biased here, right? I'm not bullish. So I need to be looking for sells, not for buys. So once I saw prices are showing us higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, well, it's not even a higher high, it's just a high now, right? A random high. There it is, right? And this is your flip right here. This is what we're looking for. Prices to come and tap that. So now I wait for price to get there, right? There we go. cut this 50%, enter at the 50 again, right there, and then hold price to this low, right? So again, a lot of traders, when price is up here at this high, there's a lot of traders that say, okay, well, price broke and price already came here, but I don't want to be a part of this mess now. I need to wait for prices to break bearish here, right, in order for me to continue price bearish, right? But I'm telling you guys, you don't need to wait. You can just continue just to read supply and demand. There's a low, high, low, high, low, high, low, high. And there is the answer right there. That's your answer, right? Let's just say, excuse me, let's just say you didn't want to take this, right? Let's just say you didn't want to enter here. Well, I can enter from this one because now I understand that we have a demand that didn't break the high, and now I'm looking for this as my next supply zone. So let's see what price will do here. Okay, price is flipping from here, so I will look to partake in this, right? This entry now, because price didn't reach. Notice how price tapped me at the 50 again right here, right? And then enter from there to continue bearish, okay? So right there, guys, is full proof to understand how supply and demand works. Because I was anticipating for price to come all the way over here, right, from this, because price came down, you can see that price here didn't actually break right here. There was demand, there was supply. And then I was just able to continue from this supply zone because I was anticipating for price to get back up here to this supply, to this main supply, right? And then continue. But however, price just, again, flipped again from here. And then we were able to continue from here, right? To continue bearish here to tap this low, right? So it's not as hard as a lot of us seem out to make it. It's really all psychological, obviously. Everything is psychological. Let me show you another example here. What I want to do is show you guys something a little more tough. Where can I see it? Maybe not here. Okay, yeah, like right here. This is a good example. Right there. Okay, let's go up here. This is a good example right here. Okay, so we see that we have our supply zone there. Span that across, right? You can see that. Let's just say, pretend this was here, right? And we're saying, okay, well, price tapped the supply zone again, but the high hasn't broken the low. Let me see if it makes a retracement. No, it didn't make a retracement, so this would not be a good example. Yeah, this would not be a good example. I mean, it's good, but it wouldn't be. It's not the correct example. Oh, actually, no, it is. Let me back up here. Okay, right here. Okay, so we just have this high right now. Create, right, this bullish move. This low never broke the high, so price flipped. And so now I would partake in this right there. Okay, something like that. Right there, right? So I would look to sell from there. Now, what I'm trying to tell you guys here is that we can obviously see that this high here made a low. It did not break this past this low, right? But a lot of traders here now will think, oh, okay, gosh, since this high now didn't break this low, I should probably avoid looking to enter here, right? I should probably avoid it because, you know, who knows what price is probably doing. Maybe price is trying to go do this and, you know, start running bullish. Right? But what I'm here to tell you guys is no, it's okay. You can start looking to sell there because prices are bearish. We're looking to take price in the bearish, you know, down the bearish trend, right? So as long as you're looking at the trend, that's already 50% of the job, right? But a lot of us don't know where the trend is. And I think on the next video, I'm going to talk about the trend because the trend is, once you find out your trend, that's really about 50% of your work already done for you in the markets. So once we enter there, right, and the reason why I'll sell like this because we know we're bearish. This is the failed demand to supply, right? We enter there. We can continue from here as well, right? Right there. Okay, it might have been wicked out again, but I'm not saying I'm being wicked out because I know how I do this, right? We go from the 50 and we put our risk above, right, and TP at the low here, at minimum of this low, right? So something like this, guys, like as long as you're with the trend, you're not going to go wrong. You need to be able just to read the simplicity part of supply and demand, right? Now I know I've been showing you guys a lot of supply examples. Maybe I can show you guys some demand examples. Maybe like even here. Let's see. Yeah, okay, this could work. One more, maybe one more right here. Maybe let's go. Let's see, where is it? There's your supply, demand, right? We see this. I know I'm cherry picking, but I'm trying to show you guys the example here. And maybe this might, yeah, let's go from here actually, right there. Okay, let's just even play this for a second. Okay, there we go. Now again, if I take this, if you see the line chart, notice that this low never actually broke that high. A lot of us would think, oh great, okay, well I'm just waiting for price to break this high, and once price breaks this high or whatever, just like that, right, then I can partake in it. But a lot of us also think about, right, we're thinking about that this is a wick break, it's not a body break, so we can't surely look for buys, right? But if you look at this hasn't actually broken a high, right? It hasn't actually broken a high. So what we would do here, right, is I would still partake in this trade. I would still look for buys, because we see there's a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? Prices are moving bullish. We can also see that we had some supply here. It broke this high, the internal high, right? But it doesn't mean that we can't look for buys here. So I would see this, right, and I would tell myself, okay, I see this is my main supply zone right there. Okay, I could actually see that this is most likely inducement for this right over here. So I'll play both. But watch what I'm going to do here. Okay, so prices are shifting bullish. I'm going to look for entries to go bullish here. Okay, and then I need to wait for prices to fail. Okay, prices are taking off quite fast, so I would have probably missed this. However, this would have been the entry that I would have been looking for right here. Let's see if we can continue price from here, because we see that this is another another demand zone right there, right? Okay, price tapped us and it's going. Is it going? Okay, price has failed, no problem. Okay, so the next demand zone is actually here. All right, so I would look to take in there, but with some confirmation. Okay, we see nothing, so nothing. Prices are just flying, so there we go. Maybe I can take a part of this right there. I actually see that this could be a breaker right here, so I can just do this right there. This would be enough right there. Okay, and there we go. Boom. So again, as you see, guys, price didn't actually break the high right over here, right? It's still consolidating, right? It's still consolidating. However, price is continuing bullish, right? We're looking for price to go bullish here, because we're playing each low, high, low, right? From low to high, right? Low to high, from low, right, to high, right there. And so this is why it's so powerful. You don't have to just wait for a clean break, right? But now a lot of those traders who did wait for a clean break of structure, now they're thinking, okay, great. Now I can start looking for buys now, right? And it's not wrong. It's just, again, I just want you guys to see how powerful supply and demand is based on based on how the market moves, that you don't have to wait for clean breaks of structures. You can always wait for you don't have to wait. You can just start partaking trades within the markets. All right, guys, I hope you guys understood what I was talking about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please throw a huge thumbs up on this video if you liked it. Throw comments down there and let me know what you guys think about this video. I'm always here to help. And until then, guys, I will see you